Hello and welcome to another Let's Play by me, the GamerWolfSix of Morenatsu Revised Shin's Route. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can go down to the link in the description where you can download and play this game for free. And also, when we get to the end of the series, we're going to be skipping over the H content because YouTube. And with that, let's start. I wonder what I should do today. Cats. I decided to spend my day walking around town. I know Torihiko said very little has changed since I left, but seeing it now... I thought I forgot the village's structure, but as I walk, I see nothing but familiarity. It's kind of sad to see how little Minasato has grown over all this time. As I continued down one of the more secluded paths, I met with another familiar structure. Out of a place among traditional Japanese homes, is a distinctly Western building with pure white wall. Yes, who might this be? Hello, is this Mr. Amaki? It's Dark Wolf, one of Shin's old friends. Wolf, it's good to hear from you again. Please wait a moment. Let me inform Shin of your arrival. Good afternoon, Shin. Good afternoon. What brings you here? I don't usually have guests. Well, I just happened to be passing on my walk. I should have thought about something to talk about before I rang. Gah, he's gonna think I'm an idiot for interrupting him. Well, I was taking a walk and remembered that you live here. I just thought I'd say hi after all. Hi? This was probably a bad idea. Now he looks mad. First you come to Minasato out of the blue. Now you just show up at my house on a whim? You just go through life without a plan in mind, don't you? Oh boy. I must have interrupted something really important to justify that vicious response. No matter. Since you're here, would you like to come inside? It is kind of hot to be taking a walk, don't you think? I'm suddenly very aware of the sweltering heat around me. A bead of sweat slips down my forehead and runs along my nose before dripping off. Yeah, that would be nice. Thanks for inviting me in, Shin. Shin's expression seems to soften as I follow him inside. Make yourself at home. I'll go make some tea and bring snacks. Oh, well thanks. I appreciate it. I don't know. I didn't expect this kind of hospitality from Shin. He's actually quite a generous host. I take a look around the living room. I've only been in Shin's house a few times, and not always on the best reasons. There's a nice feeling carpet on the sparkling clean floor, and a pair of cushy sofas. A very high-class looking table at the center of the room. For a second there I was like, wait, how do you know how nice it feels? But I guess you take your shoes off at the front door. At a distance, you might not be able to tell the difference between this and any other home in Minasato. But when you see it up close, you can tell no expense is spared furnishing the place. There isn't a speck of dust in sight. I can't even call it gaudy. It's just simple and elegant. What's gaudy? Even the air conditioning's different. Something about the temperature in here feels just right. I can't believe how relaxed I feel right now. Maybe I'll just lay back a bit and close my eyes. Being rich sure does have its perks, huh, Shin? I could probably fall asleep like this. Dark? I'm jolted from my slumber at the sound of my name being called. How did I end up laying down the sofa? Why is my shirt so rumpled up my stomach is showing? How long was I out? What year is it? I know I said make yourself at home, but I didn't think you'd end up taking a nap on my couch. I reflexively sit up straight again and smooth out my shirt, but by that point, it's already too late. Great. Some guest I turned out to be. For a moment, I could have confused you for Konosuke. Wow, he's not holding back right now. I'm sorry, Shin. I guess I didn't realize how much the heat took out of me. Well, that's why I invited you in the first place. I probably should have expected this. It gets hot like this every year, though. I'm not sure. Is it bad in Osaka, too? He asked me about the city as he places a glass of iced tea in front of me. With this atmosphere, he couldn't look out he wouldn't look out place in the painting. I mean, I think it does. I don't know. I've never went outside much in the city. We have strong air conditioning, so it basically ignores it. To basically ignore it anyway. God, I could not live in a place that doesn't have air conditioning. Like, I like Canada, but it's really weird when you go to places, buildings that don't have air conditioning. When it's in the summer, it's like, oh god, this is terrible. Huh, interesting. By the way, I brought some cookies. Please, help yourself. I would take 9. Without thinking, I grab a cookie and shove it into my mouth hole. Oh, not mouth hole, but into my mouth hole. Okay. Guess the heat made me hungry, too. Oops, I did it again, didn't I? Stupid. Ugh. When am I ever gonna learn self-control? I start to chew the cookie in my mouth gently as I try to gauge Shin's reaction. He sits down on the other sofa and slowly leans forward. No good, huh? I think about responding, but my mouth is still full. In an effort to stop being rude, I make sure to finish the cookie before opening my mouth to speak. No, it's not that. I pick up my glass of tea and take a sip. He's looking at me impatiently. This cookie is awesome. I try to play it cool, but that doesn't sound like the most genuine response. Ugh. And the cookie really was good too. Really? That's great. I was worried you weren't going to like them. Huh? I was sure I was going to call me a liar or kick me out of his house. For a moment, there's a wild smile on Shin's face, wide. We briefly make eye contact, then he turns away and takes a sip of tea. Is it okay if I have another? Go ahead. Just don't go over 9 pieces like you said earlier. Huh. I think I'm starting to learn Shin's snarky responses mean he's in a good mood. I carefully grab another cookie from the plate and take a bite. An airy sweetness spreads into my mouth as I begin to chew. Do I detect a hint of cinnamon? Absolutely delicious. Before I know it, I'm reaching out to grab more. Crap. These really are good. Maybe I should lick the plate afterward. Like, I can understand if you're at somebody's plate, it might be a little uncouth to lick plates, but when you're around family, I always find it weird when, like, they're like, what, you're licking a plate? Gah. Why are you doing that? It's so weird. It's like, but food good. I like food, and this is family. Licking a plate is not the worst thing family can do around family. God. Stop being so judgmental. Anyways, focus. I wonder where he got them. Only sweet shop I can think of in Minnesota is the candy store downtown. These are so good, Shin. Did you special order them or something? Well... Shin bites into the cookie in his hand. So picturesque. Mom has already been particular about the black tea. I'm talking about the cookies. I know. So let's see. I would say, did you make them yourself? But I'm definitely gonna double check the not cheats, but guide thing, so I can, get a husbando. It felt like taking a walk. Did you make them yourself? What I was gonna do? Well, where do you think I got them? Huh. Did you make these yourself by any chance? Yep. How could you tell? What? Really? Oh, and I do want to make a note that if you're interested in seeing the guides to Shin's Perfect Route in Morenatsu Revised, you can go to the old version of it. The one that starts out of nowhere and then ends with a bad route. Because I have it at the end. Anyways. What? Really? I baked them this morning. It's actually a Maki's old recipe. Mr. Maki? Your butler? I reach for another cookie as Shin nods. Well, the fact that you made them makes them even better. Thanks. That reminds me, I remember Mr. Maki used to send you to school with a whole bag of treats to share back then. Yeah, you guys always asked if I'd bring more the next day. There wasn't a moment where he didn't bake things back then. God, I miss the old days when I was big on sweets. These days I'm not. Well, that's probably because I'm old. Hey, remember that one time with Konosuke? Ugh, don't remind me. Konosuke used to follow Shin around, taking any opportunity he could to get more of Mr. Maki's delicious pastries. There was one time we all came over to play at Shin's house. Konosuke snuck into the kitchen and started devouring all the treats he could get his hands on. When his parents found out, they couldn't stop apologizing to Mr. Maki, and yet all Mr. Maki could do was smile about it. It was hard for us to get permission from our parents to come back after that. And it was just one person eating all the cookies. At the time, Shin was still new kid in school. It's funny to think we might have kept him around just to have more of Mr. Maki's treats. Hey, remember the mansion exploration tour? The what? Yeah, the first time Tora, Konosuke, and I came over. Oh. You really do remember a lot. You cried so much back then, Shin. Are you done bringing back uncomfortable memories? It may be uncomfortable to remember Shin, but I hold on to it as long as I can. You really need friends then. Flashback. You can tell because it's all grainy and in a different color. Oops, sorry. Because back in the olden days, things were a different color. Anyways, Shin had just moved into town a few weeks earlier. We had transfer students before, but they tend to leave just as fast as they appeared. Shin was different though. He stuck around. He always stood out among us, though we didn't find out till much later that it was because he's half French. Naturally, the other kids kept their distance from the strange foreigner. Being kind of an outsider too, I found myself sympathizing with him, but it was Konosuke who reached out first. So how am I an outsider? Is it because I'm human? Or is my character supposed to be like not from Japan, or like some other person thing? I was gonna say race, but like that's kind of weird with animal people. Anyways. Hi, my name's Konosuke. What's yours? Heh, I remember the way his face perked up at the greeting. Soon, Tora, Heiko, and I joined him. Before we knew it, we were invited to his house to play. What we didn't expect was how big the house would be. The building was clearly different from the rest of the village, which was awe-inspiring to our young, adventure-seeking hearts. I think I remember Tora saying he could make it our secret base when Shin leaves. Good old Tora and his legendary tact. Our parents didn't let us come over without warning, though. They made it clear we had to be respectful to the owners and not make a mess. Still, it's hard for young kids to control themselves, especially in such a new and exciting environment. We convinced Shin to give us the mansion exploration tour, though he didn't seem comfortable with it. It didn't help that we had no reservations about jumping on his beds. It's embarrassing to think about it now, but we were quite little terrors. I miss playing the floor as lava, especially when the floor turned out to be lava. We managed to make a mess in every room we ran into, laughing between ourselves as Shin grew more quiet. And then I saw it. Without thinking, I picked up an ornamental black cat from the end of the shelf in his room. What's this, Shin? Ah, don't touch that. Ooh, let me see it. Shin suddenly brought attention to Torihiko, who came over and swiped the statue from my hand. Give it back. Shin tried his hardest to take it away from Tora, but he was so small back then. It's weird when I see kids these days, because they're so small. I don't see kids often. It's like, wow, you're like a tiny human person. Why? You're so tiny. Anyways, he couldn't even reach when he jumped. Tora meant no harm, but he seemed to think a game started. I said give it back. Give it. It was funny seeing a stoic transfer student showing so much emotion. And then, Konosuke, catch. What? Ah! The statue bounced off Konosuke's head and flew out the second-story window. Tora! Why didn't you catch it, knucklehead? How could anybody catch that? I looked over at Shin, who covered his face with his hands while his shoulders quaked. Shin? As I approached, I noticed tears dripping between his fingers. Guys. After that, Mr. Maki brought us all together into the living room. Shin had stopped crying by then, but still wasn't saying anything. His silence was unbearable. Well, the silence. As he waited for the inevitable scolding of our lives, Mr. Maki placed a tray of pastries at the table in front of us. The three of us looked at each other in bewilderment, then carefully reached out at the unexpected generosity. I'm sorry, Shin. Yeah, I am too. I didn't think it was gonna break. The treats were delicious, but it was still uncomfortable sitting there across from Shin, who hadn't looked at our direction the whole time. I don't care anymore. Shin stood up from the sofa and walked us into the kitchen. Even though his voice was soft, I could still hear him clearly asking Mr. Maki not to call our parents. We left soon after. We knew we were in the wrong, but as kids, we didn't really know how to deal with it. God, I remember those days when it's like, I don't understand or what to do. Ugh. Growing up's hard. We were never really sure if Shin forgave us, but we were happy enough to get away with not being in trouble with our parents. Come again soon. That gentle, adult voice that called out to us as we left had nothing but forgiveness in its tone, but it was still hard not to feel ashamed at what had happened. My tongue trips over itself somehow and doesn't even have feet. Our relationship with Shin started, at first after an apology, but the more time we spent talking to him, the more he opened up to us. Oh, strain, not started. I can't read, I'm a wolf. He was always the mysterious, gloomy one, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. It took some time, but eventually we became great friends. Hardly a good first impression. But you're still a nice guy. I don't know if I'd I don't know where I'd be now if you three didn't come along that day. How about the time we took you to the river? Why do you remember only those things? They stick out because I can't forget them. God, I hate that. I wish I could forget the bad things. Anyways, I'm pretty sure my fear of water is 100% Tora Heiko's fault. And yours. Huh? Me too? Well, you always sat back and watched. Some help you were. Come on. I'm caught off guard by the sound coming from Shin's old grandfather clock. Oh, is it really that late? What? Seriously? I look down at the table and see no more tea or snacks left. I guess we were reminiscing longer than I thought. This might be a good place to stop for the day. Yeah, I have to go back soon. See you later, Shin. Later. Can I come over again sometime? Of course. Not. What? How does that feel? I'm kidding. Thanks for making me remember those things. But I can't do anything grand. But come over whenever you feel like it. Okay then. Take care on your way back. See ya. I'm glad Shin hasn't changed much over these 5 years, though he's a lot gentler than I remember. As I walk back, the only thing on my mind is Shin. And with that, we're gonna end the Let's Play here. So, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you're interested in playing this game, you can go down to the link in the description where you can download and play it for free. I was kind of thinking, should I show the guide at the end of these things? But I mean, there is the end of the last set, the incomplete one, where you can, look up how to do Shin's route perfectly. So, yeah. Again, if you want to play this game, link, and yeah, comment, because I like comments. How much you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and would like to help it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out other videos to help it grow. And please remember to spay neuter your animals so you don't have reminiscence with your old cat friends. Joke, but anyways, to control the pet population. And until next time, on another Let's Play by me, the GamerWolfSix of Morenatsu Revised Shin's Route. See ya.